You are now locked in to the Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Ayo.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Temi.
And as you can see,
we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell the people?
For the people. Mm-hmm.
Hi guys, my name is Ira Jackson Jr, professional footballer, author and business owner.
Wow.
Most importantly, man of God and believer.
Wow. That was powerful. You've done that before, haven't you?
Of course.
You're used to this, aren't you?
Wow.
Do you know, we didn't even get a chance to ask what you do. You just said it all. Like,
She said introduce yourself.
true, that is part of it. You might as well just put it
It was the last part for me.
Yeah.
And most importantly,
we do that too.
yeah, exactly. We always do that.
Yeah, you got
Child
a
of
link
God.
in with the podcast that you're on, isn't it?
Wow, we
Correct.
love that.
Wow.
And so yeah, today, as you heard, he's a lot of different things. He's a professional footballer. He's an author. And we wanted to talk to a black man about what it is like growing up in the UK as a black man. And I think there's elements of that revolve, like, are in his book. So I'm sure he'll probably mention that eventually. But yeah, I guess, does anyone have any like icebreaker question they want to ask first? Like, is there anything
icebreaking question.
Yeah.
I thought you had one.
I had one, but it's not really an icebreaker question. I feel like it's very deep.
Let's just go for it.
Yeah, I
Go
feel like
for
mine.
it.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, just
Let's
jump in.
let's let it
Anything
flow.
to do with today's topic.
Okay, we can talk about it for a
Alright,
good
we can
5
just
minutes
talk
and
about-
move
for a
on.
short period of
Yeah,
time.
That's
Right.
fine.
why not?
So this is the icebreaker question, right? Do you all believe that you all actually want the traditional family unit, or do you think you're socialized to just say that? Like, or do you think you're just brought up to believe that?
Or are you brought up to believe
Yeah,
that?
were you brought up to believe that?
Yeah.
Or is
I
that-
was, and when you say all, do you mean black men? Do you mean football?
All of us, I mean.
All of us. Okay. Yeah, I think the family unit, mum, dad, children. I think that is, not just the way God intended it, but I think it's the easiest way to function a household. You get the balance of everything, and the children, most importantly, they get both sides. They get the nurture and they get the correction and the kind of leadership aspect. So yeah, I think traditional, even though people don't like traditionalism nowadays, I feel like it shouldn't go anywhere. It needs to stay here.
Nice.
Do you mean traditionalism as a whole, or do you, like,
I think
because there are lots of
there's
different...
a lot of things, but if you say traditionalism, you're now opening up the scope for
Right.
let's
Yeah, that's
say
what I was gonna say,
3,000
in every
dimensions.
aspect.
Right.
It's not just 3D, 4D, 5D. It's
Right.
every
Everything.
D.
Of course, there's too much to cover.
You
Absolutely.
can talk about tradition in terms of culture. You can talk about tradition in terms of nationality. You can talk about tradition in terms of your faith. You can talk about tradition in terms of where you live.
Of course.
So yeah, I think in terms of, for me, I think the best place to get tradition from is the Bible. And then obviously you can put your own little quirks on it. God doesn't tell you how many children you're allowed to have and all that sort of
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
But he does give you a phenomenal basis for what a family unit should look like. Even if you look at it from the perspective of a man and a wife, God gives us the perfect picture when he says that we are the bridegroom of Christ.
Right.
So what did Jesus do for us if he's the husband? Like, all of that sort of stuff, which I talk about in my book, presents to you a phenomenal image of what a husband should look like.
Right.
Even if you didn't know before, even if society has painted it as a burden or like anything like that, I think when you look at Jesus and everything that he did, it just seemed like it was natural for him. And I think if you go through the growth process that he went through, and even that the Bible shows us with Adam and all of that sort of stuff, you then find that it's not something that seems a big shock when you actually become a husband. Like,
Right.
it's more of something that, there's so many transferable skills I've learned growing up, being a sibling to females, having female friends that have taught me how to treat a woman.
Right.
And I think something that I've taught my mentees is, if you can't have a platonic relationship with a female without it going anywhere, like romantically, and you can't respect her and love her just for her, she can wear bonnet, no makeup, and you still think she's beautiful. Not in a way that, I want to move to her, but like, you still see her as a beautiful creation that God created her to be. You will never be ready to be someone's man.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
you have an expectation that, this prim and proper, perfect, never misses a word, never misses like makeup days,
Yeah.
is what a woman is, but it's not. Like, That means she has to perform to be worthy to you.
Wow.
And that was never God's intention for us as a church. We never have to perform. You know, we are loved because we are His creations. That's it. Like, that's it.
Do you know what I'm getting from what you were saying?
Wow.
Even though that is, wow, that was very powerful.
Yeah, I don't have I didn't need to answer the question because
The podcast is done.
No, ask me a question.
That question is not an icebreaker.
But do you know what though? What I was gonna say, what I was sort of getting from that was basically to go back to Aya's question. The reason why you do want to maybe follow those expectations is because of tradition. So back to Aya's question, is it because it's something you want to do for yourself and explore for yourself, or because of tradition?
I think it's a bit of both. I think when you look at tradition, you can look at it from two perspectives. Do I stand on the shoulders of tradition and improve it, enhance it, make it more 21st century? Or am I bound by tradition to such a sense where I can't equate that things have moved on? For me, it's what is there that's good in this tradition? What is there that, you know, might be a little controversial? What can I take from it? I think you can take things from any tradition as well. Like, I'm Jamaican, so we don't really have too many solid traditions.
Okay.
No, in terms of the way I've been taught, especially, obviously my boy's Jamaican as well, so he has probably been taught more of it. He's been there and all that sort of stuff. My family is, you know, is not traditional Jamaican. It's more, you know, modernized, Englishized.
No, I get that. That's Englishized. Yes,
Englishized. It really is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from my perspective, I see beauty in, you know, Nigerian traditions. I see beauty in Jamaican traditions. I see beauty in some English traditions. But I think the most important thing is don't allow traditions to kind of cap you to be a certain way.
Right.
But maybe take...
Or to be yourself as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. Because when you look at it, you know, the reason why you are you is because you are made different.
Right.
So there's a way that you interpret tradition that your parents didn't.
Yeah.
There's a generation you were brought up in, you know. There's the way that the tradition should have evolved or may have evolved.
Right.
And you have to be able to, you know, keep up the pace rather than to go backwards. Because I think if we're not getting any better than our parents were in any form, we've done a bad job.
Yeah.
Of course.
Realistically.
Wow.
You really gave very thorough answers.
How are we supposed to top that out? Because we still need to go.
I don't think I need to answer because boy.
Perspective, though, innit?
It's
definitely.
to hear your perspective. Yeah, you go actually.
I was gonna ask. You said something in your answer, and you said how that tradition shouldn't cap you, like as an individual. So going back to like our initial topic and where our conversation wanted to go to begin with, would you say that, because obviously you said that you've adopted tradition and you stand on the shoulders of tradition, has it molded who you are as a man, specifically as a black man?
That one's a tight one. Only because, you know, when you look at it from that sense, you're taking into account many stereotypes that are, you know, present. I've never been a man of stereotypes. Unfortunately, when I was in secondary school, you're not black, you know, like, oh, you can't be Jamaican, you haven't slept with this amount of girls. So I had a negative view of, you know, being Jamaican because I'm in a school full of white people and they're telling me, you know, this is what Jamaican is. And obviously at home, you know, because we're, like I say, Englishized, we haven't really, you know, it's not really been embedded in us, you know, what true Jamaican men look like or whatever. So when society gives me that picture, I'm thinking, I'm not Jamaican, I'm English, bro. So I'm just a black English person, but I realize I am Jamaican, but just because I'm Jamaican don't mean
you have
that
to
those
be a certain kind of way.
match
you have
me
to live
because,
up to it.
Yeah, because then, because I'm black, does that mean I have to move to London and get involved in so-called...
It's so funny,
Boy.
we've actually spoken about this on our podcast as well, so
yeah, I've always been a person that kind of breaks boundaries or stereotypes. And I feel like the reason why God put me in the area that I was born in is so that I didn't ever have, you know, the same lens as everybody else when it came to what's a black guy supposed to be, what's a black footballer supposed to be, you know, what's a Jamaican supposed to look like, so that I could actually reach people, you know, in those areas, because I can relate to people from London, I can relate to people from Manchester, from Birmingham, all that. because I'm not, you know, your typical, but then when they look at me, they're like, oh, he's one of us. Do you get what I mean? So that kind of opens the door for me to be able to, you know, share common grounds with a lot of people, but also to bring them to an understanding of, you know, some of these things are toxic. You know, they're not things that we should be laughing and bragging about.
Right.
So,
That's
yeah.
important. Very important.
Great point.
Especially in our community as well.
Yeah, great answer too. What would you say were some of the pressures that you felt were imposed on you?
Wow, that was
externally?
literally what I wanted to
I was
ask
gonna
him as well.
Yeah, externally, like from the people around you. So you said you grew up in the Midlands or
yeah.
Kent?
Yeah, Kent.
Yeah, so what were the kind of the pressures that were placed on you from other people, like because you were black, that they expected of you?
Well, I'll give you an example. I was 17. I'm in the like ICT lab. This girl walks over to me and she's like, "Are you coming to mine or not?" I said, "Huh?" Because obviously,
Wait, what does that mean?
as in we know each other,
Right,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
We see each other in form room sometimes. You know, we see each other in the common room.
Yeah.
But she walks up to me and she's like, "So are you coming to mine or not?" And I'm thinking, to do what? Like, because I'm baffled.
Not even a hi. How
like,
are you?
I'm like, obviously I've been raised in a Christian home. I've been sheltered from those questions for a
Oh,
long
Ready.
bless.
time. Like,
You was not expecting that day.
All boys
When you
school-
woke up that day, you did not know that was
when
happening.
when I
You
woke
did
up
not
day,
see that
I
coming.
was not expecting it.
Yeah.
That hit me like a left hook.
Of course,
I said, "Wait,
What do you
What
mean?
did she mean by that though?
what do you mean?"
So then
And
what did
was-
she say?
She was like, "Do you want to?"
Oh,
Right.
She's offering me to have sex. And
Oh,
I said,
interesting.
Why? Like, we're not together. Like, I don't know you, and I'm not planning on having sex before I'm married. So, unless you're trying to get married tomorrow, like, what's going on? And she was like, "Oh, so what? You're gay?" And I'm thinking,
Oh,
So now something
no.
brought into the
Coming.
picture.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm thinking,
no.
like, so is this what needs to happen
Yeah.
for me to prove, you know, that I'm not gay? Like, that I have to be going
Or that
and,
you're a man.
you know, like sleeping with this girl, that girl, whoever
Yeah.
offers it to me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, in my head, I was thinking, like, first of all, there's so many other guys you could have picked. Like, me, just leave me alone.
There's a reason though.
There's-
There's
I
a
haven't
reason
done
because of the
anything to you.
stereotype. Because
Yeah.
obviously we don't know how other people would react to such things, but she would probably have it in her head that she already sort of thinks she knows exactly what you're going to respond with.
Exactly.
That's why she approached the situation like that. So
Right.
she was probably taken aback when she saw the way you've responded to it. So that is a
Yeah.
perfect example
Probably
of
caught
like
off guard,
just
didn't it?
yeah.
Like, and because I'm friendly as well, like, I can get along with anyone. You can put me in a room where there's literally, I've never met anyone. And by the end of it, everyone will be calling me their friend.
Aw.
Because I'm just nice, like, I can find a common ground like that. Like, look at your trend. Oh, I've got them. Conversation
Yeah.
started.
Could
Do
Yeah.
you get what I mean?
construed to mean
And
something.
some
Yeah.
people will take that like, yeah, you know, he's trying to move to me. And I'm like, no,
That's
I'm
not
not.
the case.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
If I was
understand
trying,
that.
you would know. Like,
Yeah, okay.
this is not it.
Yeah.
I was so baffled.
I think it's really interesting that you mentioned you went to an all boys school as well, because I feel like you didn't grow up in London, so I feel like your perspective will be slightly different, but which is good. But I feel like growing up in an all boys school must have been crazy, because I feel like the pressure that other men put on other men
Oh,
to
yeah.
be a certain type of man,
Wow.
Is a
especially
lot.
if you're black. Like in London, a lot of us went to school. Like if you went to a school like in South London or South East London, our schools weren't majorly white for the most part.
Yeah,
if we're honest, like
exactly.
they
I
were
hear
quite densely packed with
Black
ethnic
people,
minorities.
yeah, ethnic minorities,
But like
yeah.
in Kent, like what was
Can
that
imagine
like?
that's
And
different.
what was the rhetoric around just being a boy?
Or was
growing
there a
up?
rhetoric?
Yeah, what was
Because
it?
we can't even imagine what it was
Yeah,
like.
what
Well,
was
the
it?
thing is, obviously, people think Kent and they think posh. The area of Kent I'm from was not posh. Let's just say that. But it still had those elements of like, we had boys losing their virginity at 14
Right.
and saying they're carrying on a family tradition. I'm thinking,
Whoa,
Oh,
like one guy in my class,
that's a family tradition
14, we go into chemistry class, you know, a man's chatting at the back and I'm, what's going on here? Like, what are you talking about? Because me, I haven't been introduced to that world yet.
now. Yeah,
So
of
I'm
course.
just
So it's
sitting here,
new to you.
innocent, and I'm listening. These men are talking about, you know, oh yeah, me and such, you know, had sex from a
That
school
is
that was
mad.
next to ours. That was a mixed school. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you know, obviously my granddad lost his virginity at 14. My dad lost his virginity
God,
at 14.
no way you're
He's like,
lying.
you know, I'm just
Like it's
carrying on
one
the tradition.
tradition.
I'm
And I was thinking,
homeschooling my kids.
and these are sort of, and obviously, you know, when there's only like a few black people in the class, you can't even be saying like, oh, this is what white people are on, like, because you're getting jumped. Let's be real. You
Yeah.
can get jumped.
You weren't the
quick.
majority.
So I'm just sitting there thinking like,
Wow.
is this normal? Like,
Right.
because everybody's talking as if like 14, 15, 16 is
Normal.
It's so good that you don't fall
it's
into
really-
that pressure though,
So I'm
because it
sitting
could have
there
been
and
so
obviously-
easy.
Well, I thought of it like this, yeah. Before I even had my own personal conviction, I said, if I come home and my parents have found out I've done such and such, I'm a dead man.
Curtains.
So I had the fear of, not God, the fear of my parents.
Yeah,
Up
was
until
instilled in
16,
you.
when,
Yeah.
you know, obviously I started to like have more foundations with my faith and understand God and why, you know, they put this massive thing on sex and why it's important.
And it's always good to understand it for yourself rather than just following instructions.
following it,
Yeah,
yeah.
Because if it was just an instruction thing, you would easily just
You'd have gave
100%.
in.
fall into
100%,
it like easily.
And I
Yeah,
think that's something I teach people all the time. Like, you need to understand the why for yourself. Like, because if you
course.
don't, trust me,
there's gonna be a point
I
you just
tell
think,
young
why am
people,
I
shaky
listening?
ground. I
tell
Why
young
am I
people this all the
following
time, like,
this?
if you're gonna piggyback off your mum's faith or your mum's strength or your dad's prayers, when you get into uni and my man walks up to you and says, "What happened, bibs?" You know, you're gonna be saying,
And do you know what? It's so funny you say uni, because uni is where all those things start, because you're far away from, you're on your own, you're far away from home,
one's watching
no
you.
guidance,
no
nothing.
governing
Whatever you're
presence.
used to, you're out of it now. So
and this is why
yeah.
obviously myself and my boy, we help the youth at our church.
Right.
Everybody that knows me knows I am the most annoying person when it comes to first year uni. I will tell you for a fact, even though my uni, I did an online degree while I was playing football, I will tell you for a fact, if you come back after that first year and tell me that you've been doing a madness, then look, we have a problem. Because you've been in youth church for how long? And you're now telling me that when you went to uni, you know, I needed to discover God for myself. He wasn't in that boy's trousers.
Wait,
okay?
sorry, I'm confused. What do you mean? I don't get it.
So
Explain.
some of these kids that go to uni, right?
Okay,
They are, like I say, piggybacking off of their parents'
Okay.
convictions.
Okay.
Their
like,
beliefs.
yeah, their parents' beliefs, their parents' faith, and oh, mum, your mum said this, mum said that. When mum's not saying nothing because
What
mum
are
is
you
at home
doing?
doing
Yeah.
work, and you're at uni now.
how are you
Like I
making
said,
those decisions for yourself?
Yeah, well, how do you differentiate when something that seems good? Because let's say sex ain't a bad thing, is it?
Exactly.
Like God created it, you know,
course.
it's good. You know, it's for pleasure inside marriage, etc.
Yeah.
So it ain't like it's a bad thing. But how do you differentiate a good thing from not the right thing?
Right.
Because the scriptures say not all things that are good are
Like
lawful
expedient,
or
yeah, or lawful,
permissible.
yeah.
Right.
So which means, hey, it's beautiful. It may be good. You know, I wish to experience it one day.
Yeah.
One day
Have a
ain't today.
place.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have them foundations for yourself, that's
You
why I
will
get annoyed with them,
break.
because I'm thinking it's not just specifically them, but also the ministries themselves. Because if in those 5 years, 13 to 18, they've been in youth church, yeah, if you haven't equipped them well enough
Right.
for them to now go into university and be leaders, not followers, there is a big
I
problem.
agree.
Yeah, there's
Do
a
you know-
question mark as well,
I would
because it's
agree.
like, what are you doing?
What is it? So you're just coming to church on
Yeah.
Sunday to sit with your friends? Like,
It's
is
so
that
funny.
it?
It's so funny that we're talking about this, because we all went to uni here,
Right.
so obviously we've seen it firsthand as well. Like we've lived with people
Yeah.
where you can all, and in uni, well, we both lived away,
Away.
so we could see that. Even I'm sure you probably noticed it as well. Like there were people that you could just tell that, okay, this is the first time you've been away from home. You're a bit excited.
excited.
You know, you just know.
They
basically.
change
They just
completely.
change. Honestly, like
So interesting
yeah.
the way you put it as well, because I think that whole ministries having to look inwards and see where they've gone wrong with the way they've nurtured their youth. I think a lot of, especially if you grow up in like a family church where the doctrines and like the preachings and sermons are tailored towards more the adults in the church,
Right.
it is very difficult because a lot of the youth don't feel like they
They
were
belong.
spoken to. They felt
And
like
they
they
haven't
heard a lot.
connected.
Like, I
That's
heard
why.
a lot.
That's why I left my church.
Exactly. I heard a lot.
That's
but
why I
was
stopped
being
going to my
spoken
family
to,
church.
Yeah, I
like,
remember.
directly.
Yeah.
Did I feel like I actually had like that personal conviction? I had
Right.
to do that on my own.
Right.
And I did that before. Obviously, I went to uni, but everybody has a different journey.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really interesting that you mentioned that. I wanted to ask you something about, because you said there was not that many black people, but you know the black boys that were in your school with you. Was there a pressure you felt from them? Like,
What were they like?
To be fair, there was a mix and match.
Okay.
But I think some of them respected me because they just knew, look, you can say what you want,
But you're
I'm
not gonna-
a follower.
right.
I'm not one of these guys that people say, oh, let's do this.
That's
And
how
I
peer
just-
pressure works. If you
Yeah.
think about it, because if they notice that you're someone that's got your head strong, you know exactly what you're doing, they're likely to just respect you after that. Yeah.
Like when they knew year 7,
There's
8,
nothing they
9,
can say to you.
Right.
Yeah, like year 7, 8, 9, they knew, look, we're not inviting Ira to town because this guy's not
He's
coming.
not coming.
This guy's going
They know
straight
from
to
the
football
jump.
training.
Yeah.
And then he's going to his football training. After football training, then he's going home.
Right.
Yeah.
They knew I was never coming. Like they didn't even bother inviting me. They would
Yeah.
just tell me afterwards what they did. Because
Yeah.
they knew, look, there's no point. There really is no point.
Yeah.
And it's not even half the time it was, look, my dad ain't gonna let me go. But the other half of the time it was like, first of all,
I can relate to that one.
That's our ministry.
but I feel like until you get to a point where it's like I say, your own personal conviction. Look, dad, mom, please stop me. Don't allow me because I feel like the people that rebel against that are the ones in the name of freedom that really they just want to be doing wahala. They want to be doing whatever they want.
Do you know? Okay, I don't know if I agree with that. You know, do you know why I say that? Because I feel like at the end of the day, some parents can take it a bit too far in the
100%.
sense where
Of course.
it can be very suffocating in the sense where, you know, I don't know what stage a parent should allow their kids, you know, be explorative and do what they need to do, but at a certain point you do need to be able to find your own 2 feet before attending university,
Of
because
course, I think
literally
that's paramount.
circling back to what we were saying, because if you don't get that opportunity, then going to university you will absolutely feel lost. Do you know what I mean?
I think there's a common ground.
Yeah.
Though. There's a balance.
there's absolutely a balance.
Because you can tell who had too much freedom,
Right.
And then you can tell the ones who had no
None,
freedom,
yeah.
Right.
But you could also tell the ones
That had
who
the
you know
balance.
had the balance.
Absolutely.
I also think it's interesting when you talk about the word freedom, because I think when people hear freedom, it means to do whatever you like. And that's not
Right.
what, to be
Yeah.
free to take drugs is not really freedom, because
No.
you become a slave to
There you go.
bondage. So I think when people hear freedom, they're hearing, oh, I can do whatever I like. I don't want my parents to tell me what to do. But someone that genuinely loves you is someone that's going to shepherd you and guide you.
Absolutely.
And I think some
As it should be.
especially in the generations as we keep going forward with the years, people are rebelling against anybody telling them what's right and what.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes from obviously a genuine, we're not talking about people that are just talking rubbish and not living up to what they're telling you to do, or people that are just whatever.
Yeah.
We're talking about people that genuinely care for you and are actually trying to lead you in the right
Yeah,
way.
Direction, yeah.
That's
So-
actually true. Our generation has that whole no one can
No
tell
one
me
can
what
tell
to
me,
do. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, yeah.
You know how you said you have mentees, which I think is amazing that you do. I'm guessing that you mentor other young black men.
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
you say that it's sometimes difficult to get through to them because, you know, we've touched on the fact that this generation we don't like to listen. That's what it is. So would you say that it's sometimes difficult trying to get through to them and let them know, look, I've been in your position. I'm older. I'm wiser, quote unquote. So do you sometimes face that, or?
I don't, only because I have a thing like this. I'm not going to mentor you unless you want to be mentored.
Yeah.
Like,
I like
I'm
that.
not,
force
I'm not
it
your
on
dad.
them. Yeah.
Right.
I'm really not. Like, I don't have to
And
be
you don't
here.
need to,
Right.
yeah.
Like, I genuinely do not have to spend my time praying for you,
Wow.
putting a program together to help you,
Absolutely.
scheduling things.
It is a
with
lot
you,
to
and
do.
you don't want
I-
it.
and you're not interested. I did a diploma in mentoring and coaching. It says the mentee has to drive it.
Right.
If you're not asking me questions all the time,
That's it.
not even all the time, but if you're not asking me
Like
questions,
showing some sort of
looking
interest,
to grow,
yeah.
then why are we here? Like,
Right.
I really have other things to do in that hour.
Absolutely.
I could go and coach and earn £30 in that hour. But
Yeah.
I'm doing this for you for free.
Right.
And I let them know from the jump, are you willing? I have a question on my mentee induction form where I say, are you willing and open to being fully accountable and fully honest with where you're at? Because I don't want to be pulling teeth. I do not want to be sitting here. We got an hour's mentee session, and for 45 minutes, I'm asking you the same question, and you're not answering me.
Or they've lied the whole
Or they're
way
lying.
through.
Yeah, don't. Because I'll know. I will know. I will know.
Oh wow,
I will know.
that's interesting.
Because there's so many things we want to talk to you about, yeah. With the mentee thing, if you guys are interested in all of that, you should check him out, because I'm sure all of that stuff will be on your page.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you something about your football career. So first of all, if you could give us like little like chunks of information, because I have a lot of different questions. So one would be, first, how did you get into football? Then when you got into football, how did the pressures change when you got into football? Because I think football's a different, and not everybody has insight.
It's a bit of
I
different
think
world.
it's a different world.
Yeah, it
It's
seems
a-
like a different. From the
devilish
outside, that's
world.
what it looks like
It's
to
a
us.
horrible
It
world.
just
Horrible. Wow. Okay, I
No,
wasn't
no, it
expecting
is.
that one.
No, but
yeah. You're being honest.
I'm
Yeah.
never going to sit here and lie.
I'm sure
Of
there's people
course.
watching.
It's great.
We love the
Like,
transparency.
Right, I'm sure there's people watching thinking, oh, I want to be a footballer.
footballer.
You know,
Yeah,
oh,
so
you
they
don't
need
wanna
to
be
know
a
the
footballer, but,
truth.
you know, the knee
Yeah.
injury, I got
You
injured.
know, I got injured when I was 14, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real with people, yeah.
Okay, tell us
So,
everything.
first question is, how did I
How
get
did you
into
get
it?
into football?
My brother first kicked me a ball when I was 2, apparently, and yeah, after that I was kicking
History.
the ball around. Then I was walking past a Brazilian soccer academy near my house when we were picking up my older sister from school, I think it was, with my dad. I just loved the way that they were, you know. Everybody had their own ball.
Aw.
Like, I was a little one of them kids. I'm like, why am I giving it to someone else? It's mine. Like,
Yeah.
So I wanted
Selfish
my
with
own
the
ball
ball.
too. So I went and I was like, Dad, take me. And I was too young. But they said to my dad, look, if you're willing to take like responsibility for if he gets hurt or whatever,
Oh, wow.
then cool, he can
That's
join.
really nice.
I joined. After like 6 months, the coach was like, look, this kid's better than everybody here. Like,
Wow.
even the 11, 12-year-olds. Like, we're doing games, and we may as well just give him a ball and give everybody else one. So I was like, okay, maybe there's something in this. Like,
How old
so
were you at
obviously
that point?
7, like 6, 7.
Wow.
I went to Derby County. So that's when I was going back to the Midlands. Going there like 3 days a week, training, playing games, leaving
Wow.
school at 2 o'clock. Like, living the life, like enjoying football. Then my parents decided, look, we live in Kent. Stay in Kent, play for someone in Kent. So I went to Gillingham. And this is where now I'll tell you what football is really like. Like,
Okay.
Right, okay.
it was trauma.
Wow.
After 5 years, I was there for 5 years. I should have left once every year. I had West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Portsmouth, all wanting me because I was doing bits.
Right.
My parents were like, nah, it's too far, convenience. Which
Understandably,
it happens, innit?
yeah.
It's understandable. My mum was working full time. My dad was away doing ministry all the time. Who was going to take me? No one.
Right.
They didn't want
So-
you there unsupervised.
Exactly. So I'm not getting on no train and that at like 8 years old. Like,
No
it's never
way.
gonna happen.
No way.
So I was there for 5 years. The last 2 years were the worst 2 years of my football career I think I've ever had.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I'm a forward, so I score goals. Like, that's what I do. I beat people, I score goals. They turned me into a central midfielder, which is now pass, tackle, run. I said, maybe you didn't get the picture. Like, I literally just scored 40 goals. Why do I need to be playing in midfield?
What was their reason for doing that?
Their reason was that the first team manager of the first team wanted the best technical players in the middle of the pitch.
Right.
And I was like, that's great, but I don't care. I
I want to go back to my position.
Right.
And then the new manager comes in at the start of that season and goes, oh yeah, but you wouldn't make it as a striker anyway. Well, now fast forward, I played my first professional game last year and got signed as a striker
Wow.
and a winger. So
Look at that.
look at the way God ironically
works,
just did
yeah.
that one.
Just give
Amazing.
Them a little, just look at them.
Just
Some quick motivational talk there.
Yeah,
Just
so-
have it.
yeah, when people say you can't, you know, God always has
A plan.
has
As
a final say.
always.
That's it.
Always.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In terms of pressures inside of football that are not related to stuff outside of football.
Right.
Now, when you talk about stuff outside of football, that is pressured inside of football. I first started playing men's football when I was 16.
Right.
So now imagine you're going into a change room where people who've got wife and kids, people who are out here doing whatever they want to do on a Saturday night or Friday night, people who drink, smoke, do drugs, all that sort of stuff. So now every year there's something called a team night out. When I was 16,
Is that
I said-
annually or?
Yeah, so it's like a Christmas do. They call it.
Right.
okay.
Okay. Christmas
So
party.
basically everybody goes out, you know, gets smashed, goes to a nightclub. For a few years, I had the excuse, I'm too young, I can't go, blah, blah, blah.
Right. So when
I
you were of
became
age,
Yeah.
These
so now
guys
you
are
have
like-
no
These
excuse.
guys were like,
excuse.
no, but Ira, you're 21, you can't keep saying you're too young.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like,
I'm
and
just
I-
a child.
Oh,
I'm a child.
God. Like,
I'm
I
gonna
said
be a
I'm-
child forever.
I said,
Right.
look, I can't go because first of all, I don't drink. Second of all, I don't
It's
smoke.
not
I
gonna
don't
be
do drugs.
enjoyable
It's
for
not
you.
my scene.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be designated driver when I can't drive.
Right.
So if you want to crash and die, don't do it with me. Because I'm not trying to die as well.
Yeah.
Do
Of
you
course.
understand? So I was saying to them, like, look, I'm not involved, you know, and then they're like, we're thinking of getting some prostitute. I'm thinking, hey.
Huh?
So we had
That is a different life.
We had-
prostitutes.
we had a game, and this is in non-league. This ain't even professional football.
What?
So
He didn't even
We
say
had-
strippers.
we had a game, yeah. We had a game on when I was like 17, 18. We
yeah.
had a game, and then after the game, they were like, let's do our team do in the clubhouse.
Right.
Wow, so now you can't escape.
So now
Yeah.
there's no.
There's no rules.
They've literally trapped
There-
you there because what are you
there
gonna
was an
say at this
escape.
point?
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't drive, my dad did. So who else is getting me home, please?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah.
but
Makes sense.
They were like, like in the change room before the game started. I'm trying to focus on the game, and all I'm hearing is, like, so and so. Have you rang up the strippers and the prostitutes and that? Are they coming? Like, I figured
So instead of you to put your energy into the game, Now we know why the
Exactly.
teams are losing.
I'm sitting there
They're
thinking,
not actually doing strategy
I'm
meeting.
sitting there thinking like, you realise in 45 minutes,
They're thinking forward.
in 45 minutes, we literally have to go and play against a team.
Yeah.
And you're talking to me about
Strippers.
prostitutes
And prostitutes.
And they were
Women.
like,
The head
and the thing
is not in the
The worst
game.
part about it was, look, I mean, I'm not involved in that live. But if I was, please, I'm not doing it on no low rent budget. Like, these guys are earning, like, some of them are earning 70, 80 pound a week. And I'm thinking, like, from football. So I'm thinking, you definitely ain't paying out of your work salary to do that. You're going to use your little side money that your missus don't know you're earning.
Wow.
Like, how much you're earning.
Money you shouldn't be
And
touching.
Some of these men are married with
Yeah.
kids.
with kids.
You're-
Let's remember
you're-
that.
You're asking that question like they're Christians.
Okay.
But even
No, but again,
Yeah, I was
the reason why
you
I
don't
say-
have to be a Christian
No,
to
but-
know what.
No, but this is the thing. This is where, for Christians, I think we need to like wisen up a little bit. Like,
Right.
Oh, okay.
You're expecting sinners to have
Oh, yeah,
morality.
no.
Like,
You're right about
like
that.
they don't. Because if they had morality and if they had sense, they would believe, would they not?
I get what you're saying, but everybody is. Do you know what I don't, it's not that you're expecting morality from, but if you're someone that's also taken the decision to have a wife and have children, there's
It
a
just
certain level.
I don't mean nothing to
You know,
them.
it doesn't mean nothing to them, but I'm saying we would hope.
Yeah.
It should.
Christianity
It should,
aside,
but then we
it
go back to
should.
tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, traditionally back in the day in England, you know, men were known as gentlemen.
Right.
That's gone out the window now. Especially when you look in the football scene, like
I don't think it will ever not shock me. I think because I still have that hope in me that you would at least,
Yeah.
you know.
And this is the thing where now I'm in a bit of a different position with people where I can speak to them from a place of so-called experience in terms of like, you know, how relationships are supposed to work. I've written a book now, so people listen to me a bit more. And I have conversations with my teammates on the coach. One of them is like, look, if my missus doesn't agree with what I'm doing, then she can F off. And I'm thinking,
Oh yeah, you're gonna
So
get
is-
those ones, aren't you?
I said, is that the way you treat your wife? Like she's not even your wife, but like if this is
the
someone
person you claim to love.
yeah, like you say you love them, they were like, oh no, I can cheat, but she can't. I said,
Yeah.
wait.
You got problems.
I said,
Serious ones.
not even double standard. Does that even make sense?
No,
it doesn't make
Of course it
sense.
doesn't.
But
Because-
unfortunately, you don't have to
them
have
it
a
does.
footballer to have that opinion. A lot of men just have that opinion.
No, but this is what I'm saying.
It's
like,
sad.
I think
No, it's true
this
though.
is the reason why I don't like the label of footballer, but I love it in the sense of it gets me to do things like this. It gets me to have conversations,
And it's
with
your
people.
passion.
and it's
Yeah.
something I love to do, and I can use it to shine a positive light on what a footballer could
Can
look
be,
like.
exactly.
That's a very good thing that
I
you
like
just
how you said
said
that.
because
So when I have my little, you know, moments where I'm like, do I really want to be doing this anymore? Like God always reminds me, like, there's a reason why you're in this
there,
industry.
He's
there to
placed
shine
that
a light.
in you.
And there's a hell of a lot of trauma that comes with it, but
Right.
you know,
You have
it
a
is what it
mission.
is. Like I'm on a mission, so I don't care what I have to face. I don't care who I have to argue with. I don't care who I have to sit down on the bus with and have heart-to-heart combos with. Like I will get into your personal life if you want me to. Like
Right.
if you're asking me questions, don't expect me to kind of like compliment what you're saying. Like,
Right.
or don't
Gonna
expect
get
me to agree with your
not
lifestyle
gonna sugarcoat
if I don't
or-
agree with
yeah.
it.
You're
Yeah.
gonna tell them the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of my boys was like, "Oh, my missus, she's too emotional." I said, "Well, first of all, women are emotional creatures. That's the way they were created.
So are men.
Do you want a hard man as your wife? Oh no, because I'm not
Exactly.
trying to marry a man. So
So what do you want
what
then?
do you want?
I
Do you
feel
want her
like-
to be herself? Because this is the thing. If we're expecting a woman to be, you know, hard shelled, we'll then say, "Oh, you know, it's like marrying a brick wall." So where's the balance? Like allow a woman to be who she is, but also you have to understand. Look, if she's been in relationships with other people before, you're having to deal with breaking down and like demystifying all the traumas that she's been through with other men. That's why I say to guys, don't mess with somebody else's wife. Like if she ain't your wife,
You're
don't mess
preaching.
with her. Because I guarantee
you know I'm staring at the camera right now.
all of that heartbreak, all of that trauma that you're giving her, the next guy
Has to do with it.
Oh my Lord. The next
And a lot
guy-
of men don't have that.
They don't have that
No,
forward thinking,
it's
but
not
I
even just
also-
men; it's women as well.
I also think
Of
it's the
course.
carelessness of the state of dating that we're in, where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're just having fun. So you know, whatever I do,
Going with
yeah,
the
it just
flow,
happens,
it is
but
what it
you're not
is.
People
thinking that you're
don't-
dealing with people's, and you don't have to remember that they're people's daughters. Just remember that they're human beings.
That's
And
it.
They're gonna take
You don't
on
have to
this
put in
trauma,
attachments.
That is
any
it.
situation to their workplace, they're gonna take it to wherever they're gonna go. They're gonna take it.
Yeah.
I feel like what you were saying was such a good roundup though, because like you touched on so many things, and I think what's really stood out to me about you is that you really want to shine a light wherever you are. And people would think, oh, football, obviously football's a quite secular, it's a secular thing, like in terms of what it stands for. It's like it's the nation's biggest sport, and you're doing something that's really admirable. So we're very happy to have you on. Please tell us about your book. Tell everybody where they can
find you.
Yes,
if someone wants to come watch you play. You never know.
Yes, tell them about your mentoring, like everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I said, my name's Ira Jackson Jr. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram with Ira Jackson Jr. My mentoring program is called What is a Man Mentoring Group. So what we do is we train people in the biblical foundations of manhood. So we take them all the way from what does God call you? What's your DNA? All the way to some of the roles that you'll play as a man, brother, son, friend, husband, father, and give you some of the kind of tips and, responsibilities and callings that God puts on you. Not that I put on you, not that the world puts on you, but ones that God puts on you, because it's a biblical understanding and it's a firm foundation. I think when you look at things, from the world's perspective, you're going to be looking at a trend that's going to change in 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you put it on the word, the word hasn't changed in the last 2,000 years.
It's not going to change anytime soon.
It's the most surest foundation that you can go from.
Right.
So that's why I mentor, because I was taken through the journey and the process myself with God. I didn't necessarily have people to look up to, but I had people looking up to me, and I'm thinking, like, do these guys know what I'm struggling with? Like, do these guys know like what I'm going through?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm doing. So my biggest thing was, okay, let me get myself right. Because if these guys are looking up to me, I need to have something for them to actually look up to.
Right.
In the sense of, I don't want to just be, oh yeah, I was a footballer, he's really great. He stands on stage, he preaches, he sings, he does this, da, 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 da. That's great. But what's my character saying? Like, if you were to put my character to the test, does it stand the test of time?
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing I deal with the young men is, look, I don't care how good you are at whatever sport you play. I don't care how smart you think you are. The second you get to the top, if you get to the top, by the way, because it ain't easy.
Wow.
If you don't have the character to keep you there, you are just another statistic.
Absolutely.
And you're going to mishandle what God gave you.
Like,
Absolutely.
You can mishandle relationships. You can mishandle money. You can mishandle, like, contracts, yourself. Exactly. Like, I don't want to be one of these guys that lets the fame or lets
There's a lot of distractions
the
out
accolades
there.
get to the head. Like, that's why I like keeping myself busy, because if I know what I'm like, I have an addictive personality. So if I like something and I enjoy it, like I'm going to want to do it more. But that's not always good. So I'd ask God, can you hone that and put it into the right things?
Right.
So that's why I spend a lot of my time mentoring. I spend a lot of my time studying. I spend a lot of my time training with football. I spend a lot of my time with my business. So it's that's pretty much
And writing too. What about your book?
Yes, my book.
Don't forget about the book.
Mentoring program. Well, the mentoring program is what birthed the book, essentially. So I have a 30-week program, the What is a Man 30-week manhood program, that I turned into a book that kind of expands and gives more like meat on the bones of what that program talks about. And the book takes you through that program as well. It takes you through, it's basically a manual for manhood. I looked around, I couldn't find one, not from a biblical or faith perspective anyway. And so I decided, look, I can either turn it into an online course, which we're about to do this year, or I can write a book. And I like writing. So I thought, you know what, let's go for it.
Makes sense.
And so when I released it, I was on loads of podcasts and stuff talking about it. But the main aim of it is really to get the conversation around manhood, masculinity, faith, relationships, and how all of that ties in together out there. Because nobody can now give an excuse that they don't know how to behave. I've given you a resource. It's out there on Amazon. Type in my name, type in What is a Man, and you'll find it. Go read it, and you'll be helped.
Wow.
I'm a solution finder. Like, if I don't know the answers, I'm going to try and find them. I don't want the excuse anymore for men or for churches, ministries, youth fellowships, whatever it is. Oh, we just didn't have the resources. We didn't know how to, train these guys or disciple these guys. Well, I took the time to do it. And this is why this year I'm going on a book tour to have these conversations, because the book is phenomenal in the sense that it gives you a great basis. But there's so many conversations that it pulls out. When we talk about like the myths of manhood, like men are trash. Where does that even come from? It comes from the expectation that women have that a man is supposed to behave in a certain way.
Right.
So when something doesn't fulfill its function, what do? throw it in the bin.
Of course.
So that's the reason why
The
women
bin.
say
Trash.
men are trash, because they're thinking, well, you're supposed to be this.
But you're not.
You ain't
And
that.
you're not.
Go away.
Right.
So obviously not all men are trash, but
course not.
I understand that we've given you, as ladies, we've given you credibility to say that because of the way we've behaved.
Right.
And I say
Right.
we because I'm a man and I can't single other people out and not be part of it myself.
Right.
Some of the decisions, some of the things I've done in my past, some of the things I've said
Right.
haven't been exemplary.
Up to par.
And that's
and
fine
haven't
because
been
you're only
acceptable.
human.
And you're
But
learning.
what I'm doing now is like I tell my people around me, look, I've written this book now. Hold me accountable. If you see that I'm not operating
Like
the way
that.
that this talk,
I would just
Remind
hold up
you,
the
bro.
book.
literally,
Here you go.
Yeah, you
I
don't
just
even,
learned in
you
your
don't even
face.
have to. Literally, you don't even have to like start scolding me or anything. Just hold it up.
Just
and-
hold the book up.
Yeah, that you
know them
just
ones
brings
that
you
I
back.
know,
Yes,
yeah.
brings you
Well,
back.
yeah.
Oh
Sorry,
wow.
Jesus. Just give it one
Not
of them.
sorry, Jesus.
Yeah, just give it one of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the stage of maturity that a lot of us need to get to, where you know, I grew from having all friends that were girls apart from him to now the most of the people I'm around are guys because I wanted to grow.
Right.
And when I prayed and said to God, look, I want to like do this. I want to grow. I want to be an example. He was like, okay, who are you around? I was thinking, I've got some friends, Yeah, but they're all girls. I was like, okay, maybe that needs to be
Yeah.
fixed. So as I grew and as I matured, I wanted to be around people that would check me, because women, as much as you will check someone, your first port of call is to nurture. You are loving, like you want the best and you see the best in every person.
That's for the most
Until
part.
they give you an example that this guy is not trash, he's beyond trash.
Right.
Now I'm going to call him trash.
That's
Right.
so true. To
You
be fair.
will be,
Yeah.
you will be all the way there. No, he can change.
Oh,
this is not an
no.
outfit, okay? It's not an outfit. It's not an
Do
outfit.
you know
You
what?
can't just take
There's
the Air
so
Forces
many
off.
bars.
You can't take the Air Forces off and
There's
put some
been
Crocs on
so
and say,
many
oh, see,
gems.
it's better now.
change. This is not an outfit.
Wow.
It's not, but it isn't, is it?
No, you're
this,
right.
This guy is not
It's
an
a heart
outfit.
posture.
Wow.
You bring this guy home.
That was powerful.
Let's say this for example. You got the Puma hoodie on, yeah. You go
Tell me you didn't know she was
go
gonna
to
be
JD.
material for ministry
You go to-
today, boy.
You go to JD, yeah, and you're like, you know what? I like that hoodie, And you're like, it doesn't really fit in with anything I have. I can't afford the tracksuit bottoms. But you know
But I'm
what?
gonna get it anyway.
But I'm gonna get it, and when I get home, I'll figure out
How I'm
to
gonna
make it
fix
work.
it.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of women do with men.
Wow. And
They're like,
I,
you know what?
Okay,
No,
we don't know why you're screaming.
No, but look, if
No,
I-
it's true.
if
We don't
I'm
know why
gonna
you're
be
shouting at
But
us.
the thing is, though,
It's the potential, the
it's-
idea of
But you know what it
potential.
is? You know what that is, though? That is beautiful.
and that's fake.
It
but
is.
hope.
It is.
It's fake.
Misled hope.
It's fake and it's hope.
But it's
I've-
still hope.
I've said this to girls before who are my friends, and I've said it to
Wow.
the girl I'm with now.
done.
You're not my mum.
Wow.
Your job as a woman, biblically, is not to make a man a man. He should already be one before he comes with you. You make him a better man. There's a
We're
difference.
actually talking about
Does that make
beforehand
sense?
as well.
Does that make sense?
Give him praise in the sanctuary.
This is the thing that I've noticed is that on both parts there is stupidity going on.
Yeah,
Of
Yeah.
course,
Because
of
use and abuse
course.
that. Oh, no, I don't need to change.
Of
Like,
course.
She's
you know,
here.
She's here. Like,
She's not going
sat-
anywhere.
She's not.
She
see
said
them
she was
ones?
done, but she's still in.
And you think about it. You gain
Why would he change?
you gain no credibility with a man when you do that.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Because we
we've
are
been telling
trained.
you-
We are trained to meet targets.
Yes.
We are trained to meet targets.
We've been telling you.
No, but this is the thing.
What do you mean you're trained to meet targets?
We are trained to meet standards and meet targets. We
Right.
are competitive in
Like
nature.
logical.
Right.
So, for
Yeah.
example, if you say to a man, look, you see it in movies all the time, and people think, oh, no, it's not true, it's in a movie. It's based on truth.
Yeah.
If the woman says to a man, I want a man that's earning six figures, as rude sometimes as that may be, what does that man go and do? If he wants that woman, what's
He's
he going
kill
to do?
himself to get the
He's
six
going
figures.
to
He's
kill
going to find
himself
somewhere
to-
he can make six figures.
even if it's drugs, even if it's
He'll find a way.
he will find a way to make sure that the woman he says he loves, he meets that standard. So I say to guys, first of all, you shouldn't need any woman to tell you that you need to be taking care of business. But if you find a woman, if there's a woman out there that's doing that, yeah,
Right.
stick to the standard. Because if you don't stick to the standard, he's going to abuse it. Trust me.
Right.
Fact.
Don't say you want something and then just accept
And then you-
rubbish.
yeah.
You've been
Because
saying
what
it.
happens is you say, look, I'm expecting a man, you know, that treats women right. You know this guy's been a dog from day one.
I'm hearing
Right?
it.
And all of a sudden, he gets around your friends one time and goes, oh, you're right, sis. You're right, sis. How are you? You know, oh, no, I'll pay for dinner today. No, it's okay. It's okay. And you're like, oh, see, he's changed. Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Deceiving you.
All he's doing, right, is giving you a bit of what you need.
Yes, to keep you
To
going.
suck you in.
That's it, man.
And that's
Until the next thing that you complain about, and then he keeps, it's a cycle.
Even that, it might not even get to the next thing that you complain about, because you'll be complaining about that again. Trust me.
Of course.
Because if it's not in his heart to do,
It's not happening.
He ain't doing it.
Correct.
he will. This is where I say you're not the mum. You know why? Because mothers correct behavior, right?
And they're meant to.
Your job ain't
It's not
to
to
correct
correct
his behavior.
I didn't
The behaviour
warn-
should already
I
be
didn't
correct.
warn you.
Either you say to him, look, you just don't meet the
You
grade.
preaching.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not even like, there's certain things that you can allow, okay? Because when I was taught about relationships, there's certain allowances you have to make. If this guy is a man of vision, and at the moment he's only earning, you know, let's say 25k a year, right? But this guy has vision, and you believe in that vision, and he's
That's
doing
a
the
whole
things
different
necessary.
story.
That's
To-
different.
that's
a
make
whole
that
completely
vision come
different
to
story.
Now that's a
fruition.
different character
Completely
Absolutely.
to a guy that's like, no, I'll do it still, like, and then you're waiting 2-3 years and my man hasn't changed.
No progression whatsoever.
No progression. He's made no plans, because remember the scripture says, write the vision and make it plain, so them that see it can what? Run with it.
Wow.
You know what?
Your natural
Men,
ability as a woman,
He's come for you this week.
your natural ability as a woman, right, is to cultivate,
Yeah,
to take
we make
things,
a house a home.
exactly, to take something, you know, that was, you know, low key basic in idea,
To make it in something
Hallelujah.
and
beautiful.
make it better. Your job is to make it better. Your job isn't to make it something.
Wow.
That's it.
You know what?
Because if he comes to you
Wow.
with the idea of, you know, oh, one day, because I've seen this on Twitter so much, and you know, people will school me for saying Twitter, and you know, it's not a valuable source of information. Whatever.
Where's the
I don't
pen
care.
and paper?
When you look on Twitter, yeah, and these girls are coming out with their stories of, oh, you know, this guy told me he wanted to be a rapper, so I paid £3,000 for
Oh,
his
those
this.
kind of stories.
Okay, how many bars has he written?
What song has he actually finished?
What song has he finished? This guy's got 150 3-line freestyles. How many of them are actual songs?
Right.
Because you're telling me I could write a 3-line freestyle.
Ira, you're coming to
Whoa.
their door.
I've got bear on my phone, but does that mean I'm a rapper?
Why are
Don't
you
invest
stepping
in
on
me as a
necks?
rapper.
Why are you stepping on necks
But
today?
again, this is why I'm going on the book tour, because
Okay.
these conversations need to be
They need to
had.
be had.
From
Do you have dates ready so I can
just
just leave
I've
it in
got-
the
I've got
description
some.
down below?
They're coming.
Oh, they're coming, okay.
Yeah.
So guys,
People need
if
to
you're
see.
interested, I'm sure this has been a wonderful episode. So I'm sure you've taken
Honestly.
so much from it. If you want to follow everything he's doing, make sure you follow him on his social media platforms. Make sure you're following us on our social media platforms.
SDWTS podcast.
Follow them up.
Yes, and we'll see you in our next episode. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for being
No
on.
worries.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
And we'll see you
you.
later. Bye. Oh my god.
Wow.
I was not expecting that to end that way.
Hey, I keep it.